Here we go. We are packed on a Tuesday. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. 1 hour from now, I care too much. It's sort of sad. The Herd hierarchy, top 10 teams in the league. Joy Taylor joining me as always.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Sweater weather?
It is sweater weather, yes.
We are packed today. This is going to be a great show today. I don't think I remember an NFL season this crazy. This wild. 10 teams in the NFC have a playoff possibility still. 10 teams. We got a third of the NBA's tanking. One team can win. We got the whole NFC is wide open in this thing. And so Minnesota's loss last night. It's crazy. For the record, breaking news. John DeFilippo, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, just got fired. Yeah, it's his fault. Yeah, by the way, Philadelphia, go get him for Carson Wentz. So this is funny about last night. There's a reason. Last night was classic Kirk Cousins. He lost the game in prime time and ends up with garbage yards at the end. And this is why I say you got to watch the games. Last night I said this to my wife. I said, "Man, this is boring." Well, why do you keep watching it? I said, because you got to watch the games. Don't pay attention to stats. There have been years that if you didn't watch Andy Dalton, you looked at his box score, you're like, "Ooh, he's a Pro Bowler." Jacksonville gave Blake Bortles. Whoa, Blake. Did you watch Blake Bortles? Last night is the difference between Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. Neither played well. In fact, Russell had a terrible interception. But Russell Wilson always makes the play in the game. And that was an equally huge game for both teams. Kirk Cousins never makes the play. Neither played great, but one made a great play. Russell Wilson scrambles right there, down the sideline. That changed everything. Quarterbacks don't play well every weekend. Peyton Manning didn't. Brady doesn't. Breeze had a stinker against the Cowboys. But do you make the play? The NBA is littered with guys like Zach LaVine, who scored 24 a night, and you won't remember 3 baskets when he's done. Blake Griffin, 26 a night, an endless highlight reel. Has he ever hit a big shot? Russell Wilson right now is behind Matt Ryan. He's 11th in fantasy football quarterback points. He's behind Matt Ryan, who's on a 5-game losing streak and never makes the play. He's behind Cam Newton, also on a 5-game losing streak. I say this, judge a person on a bad day. That's who they are. Every parent's in a good mood when little Johnny hits the game-winning Little League home run. But what about when little Johnny goes 0 for 3 and the umpire hosed him? How's dad act then? Because that's who dad is. Russell Wilson put up a stinker last night. Had the worst interception of the season. The craziest, goofiest, awful throw of the year. But he made the play. Kirk Cousins is now 4-13 in primetime games. Russell Wilson is 21-5. Russell Wilson wins 60% of his road games. Kirk Cousins wins 36% of them. But if you looked at the box score last night, Kirk Cousins, 20 of 33, over 200 yards, touchdown, no picks, 90 passer rating. If you look at the box score, Russell Wilson, 10 for 20, 72 yards, no TDs, a pick, and a passer rating of 37. Tell my wife, I got to watch these games. And last night's why you got to watch the games. By the way, Minnesota, I don't want to hear about officiating. Okay, you're the only team in the league that through 13 games, you could make 13 a round number. You're 6-1. You define average. You got 2 world-class receivers, excellent defense, and you couldn't score till garbage time. I don't want to hear about officiating. You got a gift call against the Packers and Clay Matthews earlier this year, and true to form, you couldn't even win that game. You tied it. Watch the games. That was a great, classic Russell Wilson game because he stunk, had a terrible pick, but unlike Cousins, made the play. And let me segue to another guy that a lot of people criticize, myself included, but he oftentimes wins close games, Dak Prescott. So I want to remind everybody, as we shift to Dak talk, that Kirk Cousins was the best free agent quarterback on the market this year. easily. Was actually outside of maybe, like a Peyton Manning, the best available quarterback in years. And Peyton, by the way, would never have left if Andrew Luck was not going to get drafted. If Andrew Luck was not available out of college, the best quarterback out of college since John Elway, the Colts would have kept Peyton Manning. They wouldn't have moved him. Yeah. Kirk Cousins was the gem of the free agent class. He has 2.5 more years in his contract with the Vikings at $28 million a year. If Minnesota could get out of that contract on the flight home, they would have last night. They'd get out of that thing tomorrow if they could, and they can't. So if you have any doubts about Dak Prescott, let me remind you, and I have been critical of him, he does give you 4 things which are really important things in 2018. Stability at the position. You don't want to be Jacksonville. They've got stability at the position. He's mobile in an era where I do want my quarterbacks. I like him to move around a little. Number 3, he has incredible leadership qualities. And number 4, this is weird, but he wins a lot of close games. I think he's limited 2. I've said before, if you're going to sign him, it better be 18 to 21 million. He needs a lot of help. But college football only gives you about 1 to 2 quarterbacks a year. And it should be noted, Dallas doesn't have a first-round pick next year. Dak has the leverage of scarcity. There's not many quarterbacks out there. And as I'm watching Kirk Cousins last night, I'm thinking about Dak. And I'm thinking, Kirk Cousins, he was the gem of the quarterback free agent class. He cannot win a close game. He cannot win a primetime game. Jerry Jones was on Dallas radio this morning, and he knows Dak better than all of us, and he said, Dak, you ever notice how often he wins big games?
The thing you got to remember about Dak, he's so well prepared. I don't know, we've had a player that is as focused on the game plan or focused on what he's being told in the classroom. He takes to the practice field. I can't emphasize enough that you hang around and you hang through a mistake on a given play, and you're going to have something good happen. And that's the way I feel about Dak.
I think that was somebody playing Jerry Jones. It sounded almost too much like Jerry Jones, but he's right. So in review, in my first segment today, Russell Wilson played lousy, but I love him because he makes the play. And Dak Prescott, in my opinion, is an average quarterback talent. But man, he makes plays in big games, offers stability, can move around a little bit, and has incredible leadership qualities. Do not forget, Kirk Cousins was the gem of the free agent class. Okay, just don't forget that. Is that we can bang on Russell Wilson's interception and performance last night, and a guy like me can come out and say, Dak drives me crazy, and I think he has an incredibly low ceiling. It's about 2 inches from the floor. But sports isn't about Blake Griffin averaging 26 a night. It's not about Zach Levine averaging 24 a night. I don't know what Ray Allen averaged, but I can remember a dozen big shots in his career. I don't know what Dwayne Wade's career average is. I can think of 50 huge plays in his career. I want guys who make plays, even if they're incredibly flawed. Andy Dalton and Kirk Cousins don't. As long as the number's right with Dak, he does. And Jerry's not getting rid of him. He does. And well, all these games on this 5-game winning streak for Dallas, they're all like 1-play, 1-possession games, and they're winning all of them. Coming up next, I always give credit when a local media member can criticize a local icon. That is not easy to do. A columnist in Pittsburgh, it's time to consider firing Mike Tomlin. And he lays out a very convincing argument for the Steelers head coach. That's coming up next. When it comes to costly car repairs, you need options. Instead, you're often stuck bargain hunting for the best deal because you don't want to fork over $850. That's why extended vehicle protection from CarShield is so important. First of all, they make the process of fixing your car for a covered repair really easy. You pick the mechanic and they reimburse them. You can even go to the dealership where you bought the car. They'll reimburse them. They also give you a rental car free while your car's being repaired, and they give you roadside assistance 24/7 if you ever need it. $2 billion have been put out in claims by CarShield. Save yourself thousands from a potential landmine, which is an $800 bill, and you don't have $800. Go to carshield.com and put in the code HERD, HERD, get 10% off. You can also call 800-CAR-6100, 800-CAR-6100, and mention the code HERD for 10% off.